Hello everyone, my name is Kyung Hong and my book is A Sudden Sea about the Great Hurricane of 1938. My presentation is consist of these six stories. First, about the author. Larry Scotty grew up in Rhode Island with hearing stories about the Great Hurricane 1938. Facts about the Great Hurricane 1938. It was only U.S. hurricane that hit several major urban coastal centers inland directly. It was developed near Cape Verde Island, and it hit Long Island, southern Connecticut mainly. It brought 700 deaths and 63,000 homeless. Next, before the hurricane. Scotty described the weapon of a hurricane. The author explained most hurricanes have three factors: swirling winds, rain so heavy, and waves so high. But she emphasized 1938 has one more. It is surprise. So the author describes the life of ordinary individuals in detail in considerable part of the book. Hurricane was a foreign word in New England, and few people on Long Island had any perception of a hurricane hazard in the fall of 1938. Next, the science and forecasting of a hurricane. The author said weather is a cosmic balancing act. As we know, the equator is hot, the pole is cold, so middle latitudes is unstable. Most forecasters at the time, the hurricane would curve eastward before it hit New York, based on their experience. But the meteorological conditions create a fast and direct path to northeast. At the time, there were two forecasters in Florida. They alerted all the Florida state hurricane watch began at the Jacksonville. At that time, forecasting tools were primitive. U.S. was slow to adopt new science, so experience and precedent were superior to evidence. Therefore, in Washington, D.C., only one junior forecaster predicted the hurricane's coming, but it was ignored. Next, no preparedness and big tragedy. Florida was prepared, but there was no alert in New England, the storm coming right before the door. Initially, the hurricane expected to hit Miami, but surprised East Coaster after it changed direction. The hurricane started speeding toward New York and New England September 21, with winds moving very fast speed. Storm surges swept over the low-lying beaches, and it causes third-fourth of all hurricane deaths. Roads, cars, and every means of communication were gone, washed away in the first wave. Next, implications. The author explained why was the damage so great. Timely evacuation of threatened areas was impossible. There is almost no running of the storm approach because it has faster transversal velocity. The Residence and National Bureau never expected a hurricane. Only young forecasters' calculation, but it was ignored. There was no communication for warning. Last, full moon and high tide made a great storm surge. The other author, Moran, explained why were people caught so unaware at the same point. Weather forecasters, without the benefit of a satellite or storm-chasing aircraft, were unable to effectively track the route. Many forecasters discounted the possibility of a hurricane making landfall in New England. Radio stations and newspapers were unable to spread warnings to all the affected areas. Long Island residents were distracted with other news about Adolf Hitler at that time. In the past, forecasters have primitive tools for forecasting, such as radio, telephone, telegraph. But now, advanced technology for storm watching and storm measuring is available. Second, the change of coastal planning and management. The regulation is strengthened, not build houses close to seashore, and coastal engineering structure to minimize storm damage. And education about what actions to take before, during, after the storm was reinforced. But I thought about the reason why we experience the tragedy repeatedly. The more sophisticated forecasting and warning system, but the more residents in the low-lying beach. But we still cannot predict a hurricane more than 24 hours in advance. Much of what was suggested after the 1938 hurricane has been forgotten or ignored. That's why the human beings experience the tragedy due to big natural disaster is repeatedly. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your comments. Thank you.